Office System Administration, may I direct your call?
Yes, I'm trying to speak with someone in regards to the Odyssey Public Access or My Case website.
Okay, let me get it transferred. Hold on.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling Court Technology. For all password resets or to unlock a document, press pound. For Odyssey, press 1. For Protective Order Registry, press 2. For Offender Management Applications, press 3. For ICOR, press 4. For BMV Portal, press 5. For ECWS, press 6. For other issues, press 7. For fax and website information, press 8. For all password resets or to unlock a document, press pound. For Odyssey, press 1. For Protective Order Registry, press 2. For Offender Management Applications, press 3. For ICOR, press 4. For BMV Portal, press 5. For ECWS, press 6. For other issues, press 7. For fax and website information, press 8. For all password resets or to unlock a document, press pound. For Odyssey, press 1. For Protective Order Registry, press 2. For Offender Management Applications, press 3. For case-related information, press 1. For financial-related information, press 2. For supervision, press 3. For all other, press 4. Your call may be monitored for quality and training purposes.
Court Technology, this is Laura. May I have your name and county?
I'm sorry, my name and what?
May I have your name and county, please?
My name is Chris, and I live in LaPorte County, Indiana.
Okay. And how can I help you?
I am trying to find out some information about the Odyssey or My Case website in regards to how information is entered for remote access and who is responsible for that.
Okay. The information is online. You can read about Odyssey and the court program.
Okay. Actually, here, let me get a little more specific.
Okay.
It's to my understanding, there's an, I believe, August 1st, 2018 court order in regards to remote access for certain types of cases, specifically criminal misdemeanors, plenaries, various types of civil cases like probate and stuff. But it basically says that, any document uploaded to My Case on a docket after a certain date has to be available for remote access, which is essentially like a Adobe Acrobat PDF download right from the docket for the public. Specifically, court orders and such, I believe, are more important than various filings by attorneys. What I'm trying to find out is if these documents are not uploaded to My Case in a PDF under a cause number in one court, but they're being different cause numbers in another court, but both of which are under the supervision of the same elected clerk. I'm sort of trying to figure out how I can gain remote access the way that the court order states is mandated, because my local clerk is essentially telling me that they somehow cannot put these PDFs online, that it's under control of Odyssey, but it's in certain cause numbers in certain courtrooms, whereas they seem to have no real hiccups following through this process correctly in other cause numbers in other courtrooms. And that's sort of what I'm trying to figure out is my clerk's office lying that this is in their individual power as to which ones, which documents they make available for public access, or are they really under the thumb of the Office of Judicial Administration and it's hit or miss, random, based upon what the judicial office approves to go on my case. But the information I'm getting from my clerk's office it's very confusing, and it seems very wrong based upon the court orders that I've read from the Indiana Supreme Court in regards to remote access to these documents on my case. It seems like my clerk's office is just flat out refusing to do this, or they are ignorant as to what their responsibilities and duties as clerks are, because they're claiming that they don't have to do this. I've offered to show them the court order that mandates it. They don't want that, and they basically treat me like I'm harassing them, because I don't want to physically have to go to the courthouse to get these documents. If I try to get them to email them to me, they manage to come up with all sorts of IT department problems that prolongs the process. But I'm a pro se defendant in 3 criminal cases, and I'm unable to obtain documents that should be available to the general public online in my personal capacity. So I've had to resort to the general public standards, and I'm still unable to obtain them through these measures. I have to physically go to the courthouse and request this documentation every time, it seems. Now, I don't feel safe at the courthouse, so I record my interactions, and they won't allow me to do that. So in effect, I'm being denied the ability to obtain these records in any other fashion except for a way that I don't feel safe. Because there's no way to document my interactions there per their no electronic device policy. So I would prefer the remote access, which is made for people like me who don't want to have to go to the courthouse. And I don't know how to essentially, there doesn't seem to be any sort of a measure to file a complaint against the clerk's office in regards to them refusing to do this, even though they're mandated. And I'm sort of trying to figure out, what do I do next? Because I can't get court orders in cases where I'm named as a defendant unless I physically go to this location. And I mean, it would seem that the state and the legislature and the funding and everything around this is centered around making remote access possible, if not easier, then I don't know. It's 2020, and this seems to be all on the books, but my clerk's office isn't following these procedures, and there seems to be no way to complain about it. So I'd like to know is there a way I can get flagged to where anything on my case with my name on it is automatically uploaded as a publicly accessible version so that I can actually read it?
So the cases you're on, the documents aren't available on mycase.in.gov?
No, ma'am. And
No.
while I was speaking with the clerks, they were very insistent that the clerk's office, was able to read them on the clerk's office computers. They had access to a PDF version, so basically they didn't understand what my issue was. Even though I explained several different times that I'm just a normal public citizen accessing my case, not from a clerk's computer, so that I didn't have access. And it was basically, they're trying to put the blame on Mike or on Odyssey. They're basically saying that they are not capable of putting these documents online because Odyssey has the control. I know that to be false based upon, I have 7 open cause numbers, 4 civil, 3 criminal. I'm pro se, and all of these cause numbers, they're peppered throughout the 5 different courts in the county, as well as a few others. So I see what the proper process is in numerous different courts. So I kind of recognize that this is an improper process in these specific instances. And that's sort of what I'm aware that this is a public records access denial at this point. However, I'm not certain that the public access counselor actually has jurisdiction over the clerk of court. Does of the courts, because these are, these documents would be covered under Indiana's brand new January 1st, 2020 implemented Indiana Access to Court Records rules. They would be public documents for numerous reasons. But there's no way to, there doesn't seem to be any way to force this, for lack of a better word, there's no petition or anything that I can really file. it doesn't appear that the judge even has jurisdiction over the clerk of court. But yeah, I'm just sort of, I tried calling Tyler Technologies to see if I could, ask them. They told me that I have to speak with this office. So,
Okay.
and I apologize, I'm all over the place, but it's a very complex issue, and I'm doing my best to try to describe it to you. But it's very, very complicated, and I'd like to know how to personally uncomplicate it. But I appreciate you sticking with me through this. I get it. It's very confusing. I'm quite confused myself about it a lot of the times.
Okay. Well, my case, if the document's marked confidential, obviously it's not going to show. I mean, there's
Right, with a green paper. But that would require a hearing and notice of a restriction on public access.
And let's see. Well, and also, are you paper filing or are you e-filing? Marking e-file so they know to serve you? Or?
No, this would be a court order where a judge. I'm on special judge number 8 at this point. I've had several different recusals, so I'm on special judge number 8. This would be Porter Superior Court 6 Judge Jeffrey Toady, and it's basically he entered acceptance of jurisdiction as special judge order in 3 different cause numbers. So this would be an order issued by a judge, not something that I filed. This would be an order. By the way, on the actual docket, it says that I was served, but I've not received anything in the mail. But yeah, this isn't a. I presume that this would be actually e-filed based upon, a lot of the circumstances. I presume this would be something that was scanned and sent to the clerk's office, as opposed to.
Do you have a case number?
Yes, ma'am. 46 DO1 1807 CM 1721.
Okay, and that's what county's 46.
Right, that's it's got a LaPorte County Superior Court 1 cause number.
Okay, Christopher Throgmorton, and I'm just using mycase.in.gov.
Right, just as normal old IP address.
And
it should be February 19th. I believe it's the last entry on the docket.
Okay.
You let me know if you got a PDF you can download.
Okay, so I see where the special judge assumed jurisdiction, and you don't have a public defender or anything in the case.
No, I had a standby counsel, which was essentially, like he literally just stood by. It's kind of a waste because he's a pretty good attorney, but he was there in case I needed an attorney. And in effect, the only thing it seemed that he did was got my mail, so it slowed me getting information down by a couple days. But he just filed to withdraw as standby counsel like a week before this order. There wasn't a judge at the time, so it hasn't been ruled on or responded to or anything yet. So he's technically still my standby counsel, but
Okay.
I am pro se officially.
All right. Now, So the attorney did not get any of the documents you're looking for?
He has not contacted me and mentioned anything in regards to this. On the docket, it says that the special prosecutor, the standby counsel, and myself were all served. Um, Normally, it says noticed. I believe that's actually the first instance where I've seen the words served in the docket entry for an order, but it doesn't actually have the any sort of proof of service where normally it says automatic e-notice issued or paper notice issued to parties or whatever. There's no reflection of that either. But no, I haven't received anything from my standby counsel. I haven't received anything in the mail. I haven't asked the prosecutor's office yet, but I don't know if they got one. But yeah, and the clerk's office seemed to be having a great deal of difficulty this morning when I called them to ask them to email me a copy. All of a sudden, their email didn't work, and they had to contact IT and all this. They were very upset with me that I inferred that they have the power to do this, and they're just choosing not to.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I'm going to have to refer this up because I support the software, and it's more you're addressing the legalities of things.
No. I do not want to address the legalities. I would actually like to address the software. Or I could even ask this question as, is there a specific individual or set of individuals, group, department, etc., whatever you want to term it, that would be responsible for approving or not approving individual entries for every single docket number in the state on my case? Or is that typically something that we would entrust to the clerk? That's what I'm trying to figure is there anybody there whose job responsibilities would be to either approve or disapprove whether or not a court order entered in my specific cause number would, be entered on my case? Or is this really something that's actually delegated to the clerk's office since, like, England?
Well, I mean, it's governed by the way the system works and how it's processed, and if something's marked confidential, it doesn't appear. If it's,
right. And a court order would not be confidential in any way, shape, or form. That's what I'm trying to figure out is, so if this isn't available, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. It seems to me it's supposed to be, and it's not. Is it on the clerk or is it on the Office of Judicial Administration? Who do I guess, who do I file my complaint against? Because this is a denial of access to public records, effectively. And it's quite a hassle. I mean, as a defendant in these criminal charges, due process and all that fun stuff. I shouldn't have to essentially put on a bunch of hunting gear to go search for a court order that applies to me.
Understand. I would double check with your attorney because maybe I would have thought he would have received a copy of the order.
Right. Then that would possibly solve this individual instance. However, I've been going through this for about 2 years, and I'd like to just go ahead and nip it in the bud. So I would like to know, what is the process because it looks to me, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll gladly accept that. But it looks to me that all of this that I'm talking about is mandated. These court orders are, per a Supreme Court order, supposed to be online, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Some of the other information, there's some wiggle room, but a court order from a judge is basically supposed to be downloadable. And that's what I'm trying to figure out is my public record, if the Office of Judicial Administration is responsible, that's a state agency that the public access counselor would have jurisdiction over. But if it's the clerk, I got to figure that out on my own. And that's sort of what I'm trying to figure out is I would like a simple yes or no. Who is able? Is there even anybody in the Office of Judicial Administration that can individually go in and, mess with the docket?
Well, it reflects the court record. It comes from that.
Right, and the individual responsible for maintaining the court record would be the clerk. So I would presume the Office of Judicial Administration doesn't have any discretion
And let's see.
to, alter the docket.
Right. Do you have a phone number where I can get more information for you, Chris? Call you back.
I mean, I do, but I have some matters. Is there somebody else I can speak with?
Let's see. Hold on.
Thank you.